We are discussing statistics. So we have learned about methods of representing data graphically and in tabular form. We have discussed about central tendency. What was that? Data means values. These are just values. So we can show the data through graph, or you can show the graph either in a pictorial way, or you can have a tabular form. So these kind of representation will give us certain characteristics or certain salient features of the data. We also found that if we have a data, say 100 number of values, it can be 100, it can be 1000, it can be 1 lakh, 10 lakh, million. So what we found, that how to find out the central value. That is, we want to find the representative value of this given data. So if we have a huge number, huge data values, so we want to find out the central value of the given data. We call it as a central tendency. That is a central value which gives us all the feature of this whole data. For that, what we did? We found out mean. We also called it as arithmetic mean, or arithmetic and mean are same. Or we can find out the median, or we can go for mode. These are all the central tendency. That is, we have a number and these are the measures of central tendency. So give us a number, and this number, single figure, will represent all the observation which are concentrated. That is, they give us one single figure around which the observation are concentrated. Now the question comes, so these central values, are they adequate? Are they giving us complete idea of the distribution? That is, they do not tell us the extent to which the observation vary from the central value, how much the values are scattered. That is, how much they are bunched around a central value, right? So the point is, what is this scattering? What is this bunched or central value? Let me give you an example. What is the problem? What is the problem with this central tendency if the data goes bigger? Okay, we will talk about three things, or four things rather: range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, and standard deviation. So before that, let me give you the problem. So let me write certain distribution. I am going to write three distributions: 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. We have carefully taken these distribution. Why? I'll just tell you. Let me write the distribution. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And one more distribution we are going to write. And as I said, these observations are carefully being written. These are the data values. I'm just taking 5. It can be 500, 5 million. Okay. So the most important thing is, this in all this distribution, we have the same number of observation and also the same mean and the median. The mean and median is 9 for all these observation. Mean is simply add all of these value divided by the number of observation. 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 plus 9 is 15, 15 plus 13 is 28, 28 plus 17 is, it's 45, 5, 4. Okay, the total is 45 divided by 5. So it's 9. And how to find out the median value? Arrange them in ascending order and find out the central value, which is coming 9. So mean and median can be found out. It's easy for these observations. The basic thing is, all these three observations have the same mean and same median. So I want to show you the problem. I want to show you why these central median, or this arithmetic mean, median and mode won't give us the exact scattering, the exact dispersion, exact variance. So mean, median, if I just hide these three distribution, you will be bewildered that this 9 and 9 would have come from any of these. Let me just write it in a way so that you understand. Okay, These are three number lines. First is, we start with 0. First number is 1. Then we'll point out 5. If you see all these numbers, we are in the distribution, these are in ascending order. So we can just point out those values which we have in these distribution or data values. 1, 5, 9, 13, and you have 17 here. So these are the distribution. Then we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I'll just skip it because the problem will be known by first and last easily. So I'm writing 7 here, 8, then I have 9, 10 and 11. So what do we observe? 9. 9 is the mean and 9 is also the median. So what, I'm not writing, doing the middle one. So we observe that the dots which represents observation and distribution are more close to each other and are clustering around the mean and median center value in the third one. In the third one, everything is near 9. The 10 and 9 difference is just 1. Okay, just 1 unit difference. 9 and 11 just 2 level difference. 9 and 8 one level difference, and 1 unit difference, and 9 and 7 is 2. So all these values are clustering around, coming around, are existing around this central value which is our mean and median in this third one. But if you go to the second one, what do you see here? First and second. When you see that the distribution in this, the distances between the central value and the other values is quite wide. 5 and 13 itself has 4 unit difference. 1 and 17 itself has 8 difference. So these are scattered, these are spread. So now the mean and median for the first distribution is not that what it should represent, while the third one is actually representing the mean and median. But still we have three different distribution which are showing us that the mean is also 9, median is also 9. I hope you got the problem. So this is the problem. This is the issue which we are facing. When we have the mean and median, only one central distribution, a central tendency cannot give you the exact idea of the numbers which are there in your list, in your distribution. Okay, let me give you one more example so that you learn it better, because that is from the practical life. You may be watching cricket. Okay, so we have batsmen. Say 2 batsmen are playing game, same game they are playing. Means every inning they are getting batting. So they go for 10 innings. So for second, let us say that 10 times they play and they get batting and they play for whatever their skills they have. Batsman 1, first time he went, he scored 30, then 91, then 0, then 64, then 42, then 80, then 30, then 5, then 117. Oh, 5 he got out, and next time he scored 117. It's very good. 71 then. Now let us come to the second batsman. Now second batsman, he also played with him. He scored 53, then 46, then 48, then 50, then 53, 53 again, 58, 60, 57 and 52. And what is the mean and median? Mean is add all of them, means all B1 data divided by 10, and arrange them in ascending order and find out the middle one. That is mean and median. Or when we find out the mean and median, let me write the direct value. For the batsman 1 and for the batsman 2, the mean and median will come as 53. That is, for both the distribution, for both the best batsmen in all the innings, we don't know who are the batsmen. But the first batsman also has a mean of 53. That is, every time he goes, he scores 53. Batsman 2 also, every time he goes, he scores 53. Same is the median. Mean and median are almost same. They are central tendency. Now the question arises that what will happen if B1 and B2, now there is an academy, They want to choose from B1 and B2. There is a team being formed and there is only one place. Either B1 has to be chosen or B2 has to be chosen. But by the mean and median, the team cannot decide. Only one seat is there. Only one player has to be selected. Who is going to be selected? Everything is equal. Here is the problem. Central value will not give you, we cannot comprehend that who is actually the good player. First batsman got out in third inning for 0. The minimum is 0. Maximum is what? 117. Come on, it's very good. Batsman 2 has never scored a duck or never scored a century. But still his minimum is 46. And the maximum is 60. That whenever he comes to play, he will minimum score 46. So he seems to be more reliable. He seems to be more consistent player. That is, this 46 minimum he will give you this scoring he will do always. But the B1 is not consistent, though he has scored 117. So mean and median is not representing what we want. The team cannot decide a man from these two to have in team, to get selected in the team. Though the mean and median are equal. This 60 and 46 are near to mean and median for the batsman 2. But for the batsman 1, neither 0 is closer to 53 nor 117 is closer to 53. So the central value, the spread is too much. The dispersion is too much. The scattering is too much for batsman 1. For batsman 2, it is not the case. All the numbers, all the scoring he did is quite closer to one another. I hope you got the problem. And what is the solution? So the solution is, let us measure the dispersion. So we have a solution for this. It is the measure of dispersion. Now don't go into the English. It's just how much the other values are distance from the center value. How much other values are varying with respect to the central value. That is, if I have a central value, other values wherever you plot, how much they are far, either in a straight line like a number line or in a graph, how much these values are different distance from the central value. This is the measure of dispersion. So if the dispersion is less, the central tendency is good. If the measure is too much, or the distance or dispersion scattering is too much, the central value is not showing the central tendency, or it is of no use for us. It is only used for us when the central value is showing all the other values closer to it. So we will find out measure of dispersion by range, by quartile deviation. These are commonly used measures of dispersion. Range, quartile deviation. All I am telling you, quartile deviation we are not going to cover here. In the next discussion also, we will talk about range, we will talk about mean deviation, and finally the standard deviation. So these are the various measures to find out the degree of scatteredness of the observation in a distribution around the central value. Okay, range, mean, every dispersion measuring have their advantages and disadvantages. We'll talk about range just now. Then you'll see what is the problem in range, why we are going to this mean deviation and standard deviation. You'll just know. So let us see range. Range is good for some data. I'm not saying for every data it is so. Central tendency is good for some of the data. It depends totally on the data, that which data you are using. So range is basically a distance. It's a distance. So the distance or the range is the difference between the two extreme observations of the distribution. That is, if I write the formula, it's basically a range of a distribution is maximum value minus or subtraction with minimum value. But we already have an example. See, we talked about two batsmen. What is the range? The maximum is 117, the minimum is 0. So the range of batsman 1 is 117 minus 0. So that is 117. And what is the B2? Range is 60. Highest is 60. He scored highest 60. And lowest he scored 46. What is the difference? 14. So what do you see here? The range of B1 is not good, is very high. But the range of B2 is quite good, 14. Is closer to 0. That is, this scattering is very high in B1 for B1, and the scattering or the dispersion level is very less or almost acceptable for the range. This is the most cheap way to find out the measure of dispersion, which is range. Okay, this can give you an idea, but basically, see, range is the simplest crude way. It does not measure the dispersion of the data from the center value. We require some other measure of variability which depend upon the difference or the deviation of the values from the center value. The range is not using the central value at all. There is no central value involved, neither mean, neither median, whichever. So that is why we need some measures of dispersion which are mean deviation and standard deviation. So this will give you a rough idea. As I said earlier, range is the simplest but crude measure of dispersion. It is not using mean, not mode, neither of these two, nor this median. So we'll go for mean deviation and standard deviation. We'll discuss about this. Okay. Deviation is what? The word deviation means how much actual thing is there and how much your actual result is having a difference with it. For example, this is your route. You want to reach there. So if you reach here, you are closer to the point you want to reach. But if you are here, the deviation is quite high. You have to take a very long distance to reach that actual value. So the deviation will be high. So we'll know about mean deviation. Mean deviation about mean and median for various types of data. What is a mean deviation? We have already learned why we need mean deviation and standard deviation. Because of the problems with mean, median, mode, central tendency. So as I said, we will find out the mean deviation about mean also and median also. Both of them and both examples we are going to see. First thing is, because there will be different type of data. The data will be, it can be ungrouped data. It can have some frequency, it can have some class. So we will discuss about all these type of. So when we talk about ungrouped data, what does it mean? Individual data, individual observation we are talking about. That is, there is no frequency, there is no class. So how do we do this? The basic method remains the same. Let's assume that we have x1 till xn. These are the data sets and these are n values and of variable x. Now the mean deviation for say an average A, I'm saying average, that is mean, or you can also call it as median. So both of them will be used, both of mean and median about will use. So the formula will be mean deviation, these are the number of observation n, just say 1 by n, divide everything by 1 by n. And then we have sigma, summation, I equals 1 till n, because these are n data. So first you have to take a modulus, that is the positive sign always. And every observation, say xi, x1, x2, x3, I varies from 1 to n. And then you have to subtract the A. This capital A can be mean, can be median. Can be mean, can be median. I hope you got the idea. So we'll use both of them in our example. Let us write it in a short way. This is 1 by n, sigma I equals 1, and this is n. This xi minus a, this we can write it as say di. This is just a difference. I'm just replacing it by di, just to make it simpler. So this is how the mean deviation for ungrouped or individual observation can be found out. Basically, there is no grouping, there is no frequency. So let us assume we have to find out mean deviation about median. about median, let us say. So what will be the way? So the best way is to take an example. Let us take an example. So this capital A, as I said, mean, median. So if I am telling you about median, same thing you have to do for mean also. Mean is nothing but adding the terms and dividing by the number of observation. Median is just arranging them and finding out the middle one. So let us take an example. We have 340, 150, 210, 240, 300, 310 and 320. So these are the data we have. Now we have to find out the mean deviation. How to find out the mean deviation? First thing is about median. So first we have to find out the median. So we will arrange it in the ascending order. The lowest one first and the highest one last. So what is the lowest one? 150. I am ordering it. I am ascending ordering it. Lowest one and then the highest one. Like this. So these are our observation. Okay. Lowest one first. So I arrange them in the ascending order. So whatever data, ungrouped data, individual observation are given to you, just arrange it in this form. Now take the middle one. The middle one, because these are 7 numbers. So middle one, the fourth one will be the median. And how to find out the mean? Just add all of these. Don't worry about ascending and descending. Just add all of these and divide it by 7, because these are 7 numbers. So this is how mean can be also found out. Median can also be found out. Median is always the middle one in an ascending order values. So it's always good to make the table. So what is xi? Xi, these are the observations. So 340, 150. I'm writing all the observation in this because these are x1 till x7, 7 terms. So I'm writing it as from first to, these are all numbers I'm writing. Now first thing what you have to do, remember you have to find out mod di. What was mod di? Xi minus 300. What is 300? Which is A. Capital A. Capital A can be mean also, it can be median also. So now take each observation and subtract 300 from it. So 340 minus 300. What will you get? This is x1 minus 300. So you'll put 340 minus 300 is 40. What about the next one? It has to be modulus. Always we have to take positive sign, no negative sign. So 150 minus 300, what will it be? It will be 150, but it will be negative. But you have to use the modulus. So when you use the modulus, it will be 150, not minus 150. So all of them you can write. Always take the modulus, positive sign, no negative. Okay, now we have come to these terms, number. Now you have to add all of these. Basically you have to add. So di sigma xi minus 300 you have to do. So I'm just adding all these in this column. This is di, this is di, this is 370, and all these have come from mod. Now how about mean deviation? The formula was 1 by n sigma di modulus of di, but don't worry about modulus of di because we have already done the modulus. Basically it's xi minus 300. So you have 1 by n. What is n? 7. And this is sigma di, that is 370. So 370 by 7 is 52.8, and this is the median deviation. So if I tell you that, okay, find out about mean, just add all of these, divide by 7, that will be your A. Okay, that will be your mean, and just put it here. Whatever value will come, put it here. So it can be, this question can be done around mean or median also. So this was ungrouped data. But what about when you are given discrete frequency distribution? That is, you have to find out mean deviation of a discrete frequency distribution. Now you don't have a random data. I'm saying you have a discrete frequency distribution. Now we have to find out the mean deviation. How to find this? See, this distribution, let me tell you. Every value, how many times it has come, the frequency will be given. I'll just give a very small example. 2, 2, 2, 5, 6, 9, 9. This is our distribution. The 2 is coming 3 times, 9 is coming 2 times, 5 is coming 1 time, 6 is coming 1 time. So when the distribution will be, means when the data will be given, 2 is the number, 3 is the frequency, 5 is number, 1 is frequency, 6 is number, 1 is frequency, 9 is number, 2 is frequency. So how to deal with this kind of data? So either it is mean or mode, mean or median. Both way you can find out. 1 by capital N. Now this capital N is basically the sum of the frequency, which is actually how many numbers are there. It's actually equal to number only. Because since we are given frequency, we'll just add the frequencies, and that is capital N. What about this xi minus a? Same thing. Every number has to be subtracted from either mean or median, and then you have to multiply it with frequency. This is very important. You have to multiply it with frequency. So mean and median you have to find out. First thing is first. So let us take one more example, and then we'll try to understand that how we find out the mean deviation about mean or median of the data which has a discrete frequency distribution. Okay, so mean and median, you know how to do this for. We'll try to find out mean and median also. Say we have an observation, we have a data. So this data is the number are 3. The number is 3, frequency is 8. Number is 9, frequency is 10. Number is 17, 12. 23 number has come 9 times. 27 number has come 5 times. This is 5. Okay, I'll just change it. That is why it is discrete frequency distribution. Every data is coming multiple number of times, not one time, multiple number of times. And how many number of times it has come? It is given in the frequency, Fi. Okay. Now xi, what is xi? 3. I'm just making a table here so that the computation becomes easier. Xi is 3, 9, 17, 23, 17. What is the frequency? It is also given 8, 10, 12, 9 and 5. So these are the frequency being given. Okay. Now what you have to do, first of all, in order to find out mean, you have to multiply these two. First we have to find mean and median. Remember? So just multiply xi and fi. Just multiply these two. Because you have to find out the mean deviation about the mean. For that you have to find out mean first. So just multiply it. Okay. So 8 is 24, 9 10s are 90, 17 into 12 is 204, 23 into 9 is 207, and 27 into 5 is 135. Fi xi. Now you have to find out sigma fi. You have to add these. Remember, we are finding mean first. So when you add all these, this will come as 660. You have to do sigma fi also. This is nothing but total number of data. Sigma fi is what? Which is capital N also. Sigma fi is capital N, which is equal to 44. So let us find out the mean first. Mean will be what? It is represented by x bar. Sigma fi xi by sigma fi. Sigma fi by sigma xi. So this is capital N. Sigma fi is capital N. Okay. So sigma, this capital N. So sigma fi xi is what? We have already found out 660. Now what is sigma fi? What is capital N? Is 44. So 660 by 44 is 15. So now we have got the mean. We haven't got to mean deviation yet. First we have to find out mean or median. So this is mean. Now we have got mean now. Coming to mean deviation now. First of all, what did I say? What did I tell you? Take all the numbers and subtract it with the median or mean, and they take the mod, take the modulus, take the absolute value. So now this 15 has come from where? Because median we have found out. So everything remains same. That is 3 minus 15 and 9 minus 15 and 17 minus 15, 23 minus 15 and 27 minus 15. Whatever it comes, take the modulus, absolute figure. No negative sign. 9 minus 15, 3 minus 15, like this. So 3 minus 15 is minus 12, which is 12. 9 minus 15 is minus 6, which is 6. So 2, 8, 12, like this number will come. One more thing you have to do now. You have to multiply fi with this mod xi minus whatever a mean or median comes. See, this is fi you have to multiply. Previous distribution, you don't have to multiply this, which was ungrouped data. Here you have discrete frequencies. You have to multiply by the frequency. So now 10 into 6 is 60, 12 into 2 is 04. No, not this. Fi, this 12 into 2. So 24, 9 into 8 is 72, 5 into 12 is 60. Now you have to add all these. Now you have to add. So just take the sigma of this. Add all of these. What do you get? 312. This 312 is sigma xi minus 15 into fi. And what do you have to do? The formula I told you, just divide by n, capital N. And capital N is what? Sigma fi only. This we already found out, which was 44 here in this case. Let us divide it. 312 is already there. Divided by, you are 44. So sigma fi you have to divide. So 312 divided by 44, capital N, and this is going to be 7.09. This is your mean deviation. This is for discrete frequency distribution. And how many number of times it has come. The number is also there, and how many number of times, which is the frequency being given. Okay, there is one more catch here. Two ways we have already found out. Now we have to find out mean deviation of a grouped or a continuous frequency distribution. So now you can have a data where grouping is given, continuous frequency distribution is given. Now you have to find out here also. So how to do this? See, for calculating mean deviation of continuous frequency distribution, the procedure is same as discrete frequency distribution. Only difference is that here we have to obtain the midpoints of various classes and take the deviation of these midpoints from the given central value, which can be mean or median. So let us take an example. We have class and frequency. So now we have a continuous frequency distribution because we have a class here. We don't have a frequency, the data is not just like that, normal observation. We have a class. So for example, this is the age, 0 to 6, 8 people are there, or 8 kids are there. 6 to 12, 10, 12 to 18, 18 to 24, it's 9, 24 to 30, it's 5. So this kind of data, how to deal with this? Same mean deviation we have to find out. Now we have already done a question previous where we found out the mean. Now let me give an example. Here we'll do it by median, because median formula will also come. Okay, mean, you know it already, we have just done a question like this, because the mean will come as a plus h 1 by n sigma fi di, like this will come. We'll discuss it later. First let us find out using these are the class I'm giving, and I'll try to find out the median. So we cannot use this. So we have to find out the midpoint, then only we can use the value. These are all the value from 0 to 6, it's varying, it's continuous. So we have to find some middle point. So now we are calling it as xi. We are calling it as xi. This xi is basically the value of the data. So how to find out this? See, we have 0 to 6, which is 3, 6 to 12, 6 plus 12 by 2, 0 plus 6 by 2 is 3, 6 plus 12 by 2 is 9, 12 plus 18 by 2 is 15, 18 plus 24 by 2 is 21, 24 plus 30 by 2 is 27. So we have 8. I'm just taking the frequencies now. Frequency is given. Okay, frequency is given. So I'm first trying to find out the median, then we'll go for mean deviation. For that we have frequencies. This is given already. Now we have to find out cumulative frequency. This cumulative frequency is required for median. So now 8 plus 10 is, all previous terms have to be added. 8 plus 10 is 18, 8 plus 10 plus 12 is 30. Or you can say 30 plus 9 is 39, then 39 plus 5 is going to be 44. And this has to be 44 because sigma fi or capital N, which is the total number of observation, has to be 44. If you add the frequency, it will also come as 44. And the last term of the cumulative frequency has to be 44 only. Okay. Now this is done. This is cumulative frequency. It is required. I'll tell you how it is required. So first thing is, we have to find out the median. We can only talk about median, this mean deviation, when we have found out the median. So what is the capital N? It's 44. It's clear? So we have to find out n by 2, half, which is 22. Now you have to see what is the cumulative frequency which is just higher than n by 2, which is just higher than 22. 30 is higher. See, 44 is the cumulative frequency. You have, or the total number of sigma fi or n. You have to divide it by 2, and now you have to see which cumulative frequency is just higher than this 22, which is the 30. What is the class here? This 30 lies in the class 12 to 18. So median, the formula will be, the formula is L plus n by 2 minus f divided by small f into h. See, first of all, this small l is the lower limit of this class, 12. Take this 12 plus n by 2, 44 is there, so 44 by 2 is 22. So already it is 22, just write 22. What is f? What is capital F? This capital F is the previous frequency or in cumulative frequency. So 18 is the previous frequency, cumulative frequency of 30. What is small f? Small f is the frequency of the class we have taken, 12, 18. 12 is the frequency. What is the h? H is the class distance, class difference. 12 to 18, so 18 minus 12 is what? It's going to be 6. So this is median. This is your median, and which is going to come as, it's 40. Now we have found out the median. Now we have to go for mean deviation. Okay. Now median is done. Now let us come to the xi minus 14. 14 is the median. Xi minus 14. So just subtract this column with my 14 and take the positive values only. 3 minus 14, 9 minus 14, 15 minus 14, 21 minus 14, 27 minus 14, and always take the positive value. 11, 5, 1, 7, 13 will come. This, okay. So now this is xi minus 14. One more thing we have to do, because frequencies are given. You have to multiply frequency column with this column. 18 to 11, and let me write it. Fi into xi minus 14. So 88. 18 into 11, 88, 18 into 550, 10 into 550, 12 into 112, 9 into 7, 63, 5 into 13, 65. Now let us add it. Sigma fi xi minus 40. Add this. This is going to come as 278. 278 has come. Now, what did I tell you? How to find out the mean deviation? Sigma fi xi minus 4, this xi minus a, which can be median mode, divided by capital N, which is sigma fi. That is, this whole is 278. This whole is 278. What is capital N? Is 44. 278 by 44, and this is going to be 6.318. 6.318. This is your answer. Okay. Mean also you can find out. It's we'll see it later, because mean also is capital X is given as a plus h bracket 1 by n sigma fi di. Di is the 1 point you have to take. Assume mean xi minus assume mean by the class interval. Anyways, we'll see it later. Now the limitation of this mean deviation is, in a frequency distribution, the sum of absolute values of the deviation from the mean is always more than the sum of the deviation from the median. Please remember, in a frequency distribution, the sum of absolute values of deviation from the mean will always be greater than the sum of the deviations from the median. So we are talking about the limitations. Therefore, the mean deviation about mean is not very scientific. It's always higher. If you take mean, because you can take either mean or median, you can take any of these, but taking mean will not be very scientific. This is the limitation of finding out the mean deviation. Second problem with mean deviation is, in a distribution where the degree of variability is very high, the median is not a representative central value. That is, the mean deviation about median calculated for such series cannot be fully relied. We cannot rely on this. This is the second problem with the mean deviation. The third problem with the mean deviation, in the computation of mean deviation, we use absolute values of a deviations. We always take the positive values. That is, it cannot be subjected for further algebraic treatment. We cannot have an algebraic treatment of that. These are the certain problems. Okay. That is why we will try to go for variance and standard deviation. So what we have discussed was mean, median, mode, and we also found out that what is the problem. Then we did this mean deviation. So we have range, quartile deviation, then mean deviation and standard deviation. So the fourth one, and very important one, standard deviation we are going to take. That is the measure of dispersion from the central tendency, central value, how varied, scattered the other data values are. So we are going to discuss today about a very important concept in statistics, which is standard deviation. It can be mean, it can be median. So standard deviation can be found out about mean also and median also. Before that, the word come is very important, is variance, and from this variance only the standard deviation is computed. So the variance of say some variate x, this is the arithmetic mean of the squares of all deviation from x or of x from the arithmetic mean of the observation and is denoted by var x or sigma square. It can be arithmetic mean or it can be median. So the distance or the difference of all the values from this arithmetic mean, the square and then the sum of that square is going to be sigma square. Sigma square is the variance. So basically sigma square, if we underroot it, take the square root of variance, variance is sigma square. Please remember sigma square is variance, that is called the standard deviation. That is standard deviation. But the positive square root of the variance is known as standard deviation, denoted by sigma. So we talked about similar to mean deviation, we can calculate the variance and standard deviation first for individual observation, second for the discrete frequency distribution where actual frequencies are given for the data values, and third is the continuous or grouped frequency distribution. That is, we will have a class, and for each class what is the frequency values, this will be continuous or group frequency distribution. The first one is the variance. Basically, if you compute a variance, you will be able to find out standard deviation easily. So variance, let us assume that we have certain data values, and these are random data values, these are individual observation from x1 to xn. There is no frequency, there is no class also. It's a random data, it's just normal data. So in order to find out the variance, what do? We will have a formula. I'll just write the formula directly. The formula is like this. Variance x is 1 by n, the values, how many numbers are there. Then we have sigma xi whole square, that is xi minus capital X. This capital X is simply, the bar is arithmetic mean. So the all values difference with the arithmetic mean, then you square it, then you add it from 1 to n. This is the most basic formula for variance. Let us make it more shorter. If I open it using a minus b whole square and apply this sigma, the final outcome of this particular variance will be, I'm just writing the formula, this is the same formula, just for the computation purpose it will be easy. 1 by n, sigma we have, all the values x, xi, add them, square them and add them. Then minus 1 by n, and now sigma of xi, that is add all of them. Then you have to square all of them. Here first only xi square, here whole sigma xi by n whole squared. This is the formula of variance. There is one more formula, third formula. So these values, say there are 10 values. Now it can be 100, it can be 200, it can be multiple values. We don't know. So the computation will be very tedious. Like, okay, the calculation of variance from this formula will be very tedious and time consuming. So we'll find out di just to make it easy. We'll assume any value as arbitrary assumed mean, any value. I'll show you in the example. So this is the arithmetic mean, we assume it. This capital A is not the arithmetic mean actually, we just assume it. So this is an assumed mean, right? So this, all the values, just take the middle one. If you'll see in the example. So any in between value of the data, you can take it as assumed value. So di will be xi minus a. What will be the formula? The final formula of using this of variance is 1 by n. You have sigma. In place of xi, please put di, and this is whole square. And this is from I equals 1 till n. Here also you have same thing. Small n, it will be capital N. That is sigma f, or not sigma f. There is no frequency. Sorry. Capital N is just the number values. It's small n only. Just to give a different flavor, we are writing it as sigma di whole square. But di is only xi minus a. So we have a random data. If you want to find out the variance, say we have to find out variance and standard deviation. Now let us directly jump to a solution. Okay, let us assume that we have marks of 5 students. The marks are given, we have to find out the variance and standard deviation. And this is a random data. These are individual observation. So we will try to find out or use the formula which is the basic formula here. And then you will see that the basic formula works very good for the small number of values. But it won't work so easily for a larger chunk of value. So what you will do? First you have to find mean. Just add all of them. So when you add 8, 12, 13, 15, 22, that is going to be divided by 5. This 5 will be 40. Okay. So it will be basically 70. Addition will be 70. So you have 40 x bar, which is actually the mean of these values. So once you have got the mean, what is the formula? As I told you earlier, let us write it in the table form. Xi, these are the values being given, individual values. So first thing you have to do is xi minus x bar. Xi minus x bar. That is, subtract every element by 40 because you have already found out the mean x bar. Now you see there is no modulus, there is no absolute sign, there is no modulus. Now let us subtract it now. 8 minus 14 is minus 6, 12 minus 14 is minus 2, 13 minus 14 is minus 1, 15 minus 14 is 1, and 22 minus 14 is 8. What about xi minus x bar whole square? Just square it. Minus 6 whole square is 36. This is all square I'm writing. 64, 864. Now you have to add them. All of these you add them. Sigma xi minus x bar whole square. Just add them. So you get 106. When you add this, what is the value of n? N is 5. So I told you about the formula also. Variance was, if you remember, it was by 1 by initial formula, 1 by n. Initial formula, the basic formula. And as I told you, this is not very much used, but still we need to know how to do this. Because if small values are there, why not to involve this formula? It's 1 by n sigma xi minus x bar whole square. This already we found out. This is 106 and n is 5. So 106 by 5, and that is going to be 21.2. And this 21.2 is variance. But what is variance? Variance is basically sigma square. So in order to find out sigma, that is the standard deviation, just take a square root of variance. So take the square root of this one. That is square root of 21.2. That is going to be 4.604. So don't worry about the numbers, just think about the steps. So this we have already done. Now coming to the more important thing here is that now we are dealing with larger numbers and larger values. We don't use this formula so often. So we have to do this di equals xi minus a kind of solution. This also you can use. Assume mean is the better method. So when you have actual problem, we will use this di version. D equals x minus a version for each and every value. This I subscript is for 1, 2, 3, like how many values we have. So let us see the actual example of this. Let me just go directly to the one problem. So let us assume that we have to find out the variance and standard deviation, and here the assume mean method we are going to use. So the scores of a batsman in 10 matches are given like this. We have to compute the variance and standard deviation. This method, if you are finding out the variance and standard deviation, this method is quite easier to work with if you are dealing with the individual observation. Not with frequency, not with the class interval. We are just talking about individual observation. So whenever we have frequency, we'll go for some other formula. Whenever class values are given, we'll use another formula. This is just for individual observation. Okay, so these are 10 values. We will use the assume value method here. So let me just write it in the form of table. But before that, you can assume any number as assume mean. But if you see, the lowest value is 63, 34, and the highest value is 70. So if I just take a middle value, it will be around 50, I guess, 48, 50. So better is to always take a middle value of highest and lower, whichever is there. So I think 48 is the best one. If you arrange it in ascending order, you will see 48 will come in between. You can take any value. There is no restriction, okay? But if you choose a very good or the ideal assume mean, the computation will be very easy. Okay, these are big numbers, these are 10 numbers. Now you will see how easy it will be by this assume mean method. So these are the values I am writing now in the form of table. These are 10 values: 38, 70, 48, 34, 42, 55, 63, 46, 54, 44. Right. Now these are the values being given. This is the question. Now I am trying to find out. Now here our computation start. Di is xi minus a. That is, you have assumed 48 as the assumed mean. Now subtract each value. 48 has to be subtracted from each value. So 38 minus 48 is what? Minus 10. 70 minus 48 is what? That's 22. All these values I am writing. 0, minus 14, minus 6, 7, 15, and minus 2, 6. Again 44 minus 48 is minus 4. Now you have to square it. This is di whole square. So when you square it, what do you get? You have this, I'm just squaring it. 10 is 100, and 7, 7, 49, 15, 15 is 25, 225, and 4, 36, 16. Now di whole square, you have to add them. Sigma di square you have to find out. That is 1146. Sigma di also you have to find out. So it will be addition of this one. And mostly the plus and minus will cancel out, only 14 will remain. How many numbers are there? What is the value of n? How many numbers are there? 10 numbers are there. So n is 10 here. Sigma di is 14. And sigma di whole square. Whenever I am saying I am talking about a subscript, okay? It's not di, it's d subscript I. So variance will be what? 1 by n sigma di whole square minus 1 by n sigma di and this whole of square. So let us put the value. This will be 1146 divided by 10 minus 14. This is 14 and this is 10 and whole square. So this is 112.64 and that is going to be variance. Now variance, remember, it's equal to sigma square. So sigma will be what? Underscore of 112.64 and that is going to be 10.61. Clear? this, what I told you, is the variance or standard deviation when individual observation is given. So what we have discussed is variance or standard deviation, because standard deviation is computed from variance only, and for the data which is individual data, or you can say normal observation, there will be no frequency, there will be no continuity, that is no classes will be there. Okay, so individual observations we are going to see. So the variance we are going to see today is discrete, for discrete frequency distribution. Discrete frequency distribution, that means what? You will have certain numbers, that is the data, and also the frequencies will be given. So if I can tell you this straightforward explanation or formula, which is used rarely, the formula directly, the easiest formula we can say for finding the variance or standard deviation of a discrete frequency distribution is like this. So just say that we are trying to find out where VAR, and this is going to be 1 by n. This is capital N, that is the sum of the frequency, sigma f. Then you have sigma. So sigma of what? Fi, all the frequencies 1 by 1 multiplied by the value xi minus x bar. This x bar is what? This x bar is the mean, final mean. Okay. Now this is the method which is not generally used, because the numbers, we need to make the calculation as easy as possible in order to make the computation easy. So we have already seen in the mean deviation also, when the observation goes higher, so we take a term d, which is x minus a. For di, d sub I is for every term. So we will take any a, that is assumed mean, and then with this assumed mean, any mean, okay, you'll see that in the coming example. So sigma square is basically variance, and variance under root is standard deviation. So I'm just telling you about variances, and finally I'm trying to find out the standard deviation only. So in this bracket you will have sigma fi di. What is di? Xi minus a. So only fi multiplied by di square. Please remember fi into di square. And then we have in the whole bracket 1 by n, then sigma fi di, and this whole square. So sigma I to 1 to n fi di whole square. And third variation of this same thing, because there are certain different formulas. Sometimes this di xi minus a comes, all these values can be divided by a common number. So this is what we have done for the this second formula was to make things easier. We can also make it more easier if this xi minus a, that is di, is divisible by some common number. So this di by h, we call it as ui. We'll call it as ui. Okay. For example, 10, 20, 30, like this value come. All will be divided by 10. So this h will be 10. And it will make it the numbers 1, 2, 3. So the computation will be easy. So what we will do? See, VAR, variance, is h square, this divisor which I told you. Okay. And then 1 by capital N. Capital N in N is sigma f, sum of the frequency. Sigma fi ui whole square. Fi into ui whole square. Okay. So sigma fi ui whole square. This is ui is what? Di by h. And di is what? Xi minus a. A is assumed mean. So fi ui. Then fi ui whole square from I equals 1 to n. And then subtraction of whole inside the bracket. 1 by capital N. Then you have sigma fi ui. And this whole square. So I equals 1 to n. This is whole square, and now with the bracket close. So this is how we have to do. So first is quite easy, but we'll see for the completion, we'll see how to do this. So we'll take a separate example for all these three problems, and then we'll try to understand the steps algorithm. So let us find out the variance and standard deviation. And if we have a frequency distribution, which is a discrete frequency distribution, let us say variable, say xi, are 2, 4, and 6, and 8, and 10, and 12, and 14, and 16. So 14, these are the numbers, right? Now what are the frequencies of the corresponding values or variables? Frequencies are 4, 4, this is 4, 4, then we have 5, that is 4, this 6 has come 5 times, 8 has come 15 times, 10 has come 8 times, 12 has come 5 times, 14 has come 4 times, 16 has come 5 times. So we'll use the first formula here directly. So you'll see that how do we do it. So in order to do this, because you have seen the formula, we have to find out the mean. X bar, capital X bar is the mean. So this is the data. I'm taking another color to show you that how the computation will start. First, Fi Xi. So 4 is 8, 4 is 16. So all these, don't worry about numbers. This is just for your example. I'm just taking an example to tell you the steps. Okay, Fi Xi, first column, second column multiplied, third column has come. Now let us take sigma Fi. What is sigma Fi? That is capital N. This is only capital N. So when you add this sigma Fi, it will be 50. And sigma Fi Xi, now add the third column, all the numbers of the third column. Sigma Fi Xi will be what? When you add all of these, it will be 450. So sigma Fi Xi by sigma Fi. Sigma Fi Xi by sigma Fi. So first we are interested in X bar, that is mean we have to find out. Without that, we will not be able to solve this. So we know formula of this X bar, sigma Fi Xi by sigma Fi, or sigma Fx by sigma F. I is just a subscript, which is representing each value has to be taken. So sigma Fi Xi is 450 and sigma Fi is 50. So what do you get? You get 9. Now you have got X bar. So next column will be what? Now you have to take Xi minus X bar. X bar is known now, 9. Now you have to subtract each number by 9. So 2 minus 9, 4 minus 9, 6 minus 9, 8 minus 9, 10 minus 9, 12 minus 9, 14 minus 9, 16 minus 9. All you have to subtract by 9. And don't worry about this sign. There is no modulus, right? There is no modulus. So this is minus 7, minus 5, and minus 3, minus 1, and 1, 3, 5, 7. So these are the value after subtracting the first column with 9, or subtracting 9 from first column. Now coming to the square of this one. Now you have to square all these. The fifth column will be the square of the fourth column. 7 7s are 49, 5 5s are 25, 9, 1, 1, 9, 25, 49. 7 6s are 49. Okay. Now still we have to multiply Fi into X. Wherever frequency is there, you have to always multiply with frequency for the final column. So Fi into this Xi minus X bar whole square. So second column has to be multiplied by the fifth column. So this is 196, 4 into 25 is 100, then 45, 15, 8, 45, 100, 245. Now you take the sigma of this one. Okay, sigma of this one will be sigma in Fi into Xi minus X bar whole square will be what? Just add this, it will come to 754. Now this numbers, don't worry, just see what we are going to do. The formula is variance. First we always find out the variance, then we find out the standard deviation. So variance will be what? It will be 1 by capital N. This will be sigma Fi Xi minus X bar whole square. So this is 754 divided by what is N? Sigma F is 50. So 754 by 50 we have to do, and this is going to be 15.08. Now standard deviation is what? Under root of this variance. So just take the under root of this 15.08, under root of variance, and that is going to be, this is going to be 3.88. Okay, I told you about this now, but the thing is that this is a tedious and time consuming method. It's used rarely actually in practice. So we will use another method. As I told you, DI. We will first take DI, we will introduce DE basically, x minus a, x minus all the first column minus the assumed mean, xi minus a. So you have to subtract this assumed mean, which is, take any value, say 8 you take here, okay. So we'll try to take a proper question. So let us take a question properly so that we understand this. So I'm taking another question. Now we are applying the actual method, and the third method will be, third example will be on the basis of the division by h. So let me just write an example. We have to find again the variance and standard deviation. Now the data I'm changing. So data is x and frequency. So now I'm just taking the some decimal value, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5 like this, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, 9.5. So these are our data value, just to show that the data value can come in the decimals also. And what is the frequency? 3, 7, 22, 60, 85, 32, 8. So since we are dealing with discrete frequency distribution, we ought to have a frequency. Okay, don't worry about the numbers. Just see what columns I am taking. 2 columns we have already done. Now the third thing is, actual calculation is, first we have to find out DI. I is representing all the numbers one by one. So xi minus assumed mean. Now take any value which is in the middle. You can take 5.5, you can take 6.5, you can take 7.5. But the middle one will be more closer. So take 6.5. Basically DI is xi minus A is assumed mean. Now first column has to be subtracted by 6.5, or subtract 6.5 from the first column. So what do you get? Minus 3, minus 2, and this is xi minus a you are doing, okay. Every member of the column first subtract 6.5. So what do you get? This column, okay, this DI. Now these numbers, you see, now the computation is reduced. Now you are dealing with not with xi, you are dealing with DI. That is the column you are actually dealing. Now xi is done. Now do DI square. This is the fourth column. Square the third column. So this is, I am squaring the third column. So DI whole square. Now first multiply fi and DI whole square and fi and DI. That is, first fi DI you have to do, then fi into DI whole square you have to do. So fi into DI we will do first. Second column and third column you have to multiply, and then second column and fourth column you have to multiply. So fi DI and fi DI whole square. So 3 minus 9, 7 to the 14 minus 14 like this. So this is 22, 0, 85, 64, 24. And then you have fi DI whole square. Second column multiplied with fourth column. So you have 27, 28, 22, 0, 85, 128 and 72. Okay. So sigma fi DI you have to do. Just add all these. So it's going to come as 128. I'm directly writing the numbers. The positive negative will counter each other. So you'll have a lower number. Then sigma fi DI whole square, fi DI whole square. This will come as 362. So sigma fi also you have to find out. Capital N is sigma fi. So this sigma fi, this also you have to find out, because in formula capital N is also used. This is sigma fi. So this is addition of this means this will come as 217. Okay. So all things are done. Formula, all the values we have calculated. Now variance will be what? 1 by n. This is sigma fi DI whole square, and minus 1 by n sigma fi DI whole square. Okay. So what did you get? This is 362. Okay. So this is sigma fi DI whole square, 128 by, again This is capital N was 217, remember? Now you have to square it. You have to square it. So you get 1.321. Okay, now this is variance. Standard deviation will be what? Under root of this variance. Under root of this variance. So under root of 1.321. So you get 1.14 something. Now this di, this is done. Sometimes it happens that the d is divisible by some common number. So let us see a formula here. Okay, we will take an example of this also. So the two methods we have already seen. This is the third method. So we are dealing with the discrete continuous, discrete frequency, not the continuous one. And since we have a frequency, now we'll take an example. Now this is the third method I am telling. So xi, fi, and we have say value as 4.5, 14.5. Now I am not taking the this one by one value. I am just randoming it. Okay. So what do you get here? 54.5. These are just the values. Okay. Now frequency is 1, 5, 12, 22, 17, 9, 4. These are the frequencies. First thing you have to do is same thing. D you have to find out. You have to take the assumed mean. Certain steps, initial steps is as same as the previous one. So D will be xi minus any value you take. You can take any of these values, but the central value will always work. So minus 34.5. So xi minus a is the assumed mean, right? Now subtract 34.5 from each value of the column number 1. So subtract each value, 34.5 here. Now when you subtract here, when you subtract this 4.5 with this minus 34.5, you get minus 30. 14.5 minus 34.5 will give you minus 20. So when you do it, you will see that di can further be simplified. This also can be further simplified. What is the difference here? When you got here, the previous one, it was already simplified. Here also we did the same thing, but still we have an option of simplifying it. All these value can be divided by 10. They are divisible by 10. Okay. So what we will do? Ui will find out, and that will be equal to division of this by 10. Okay. So xi minus 34.5 divided by 10. Now this 10 we are taking it as h. Okay. This h. So now xi minus 34.5 divided by 10, and then this h we are taking it as a common divisor. This h also you have to know because h is going to be used. So divide every element of third column by 10. Minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, then 0, 1, 2, 3 like this. Now this is easier now. This is easier. Now multiply fi by ui, and you have to take the ui whole square also because the formula you have seen. So let us take ui square. Same as the previous one. So just square this. 9410149 will come. So fi ui multiply this second column multiplied by the fourth column. So fi ui, f basically it's f and u. I is just a subscript for each element. I goes from 1 to n. So I am multiplying this 1 into minus 3 like this. 4 into 3 is 12. Okay. Now fi you have to multiply with ui whole square. Means the second column has to be multiplied with fifth column. Fi ui whole square. So what do you get here? 9 and 20. What was the 20? Then 12, 0, 17, 36, 36. Okay, as I am saying again, don't worry about the numbers. Just see what kind of columns we are making and what are required so that we compute it. First, we have to find out capital N, so sigma fi. Always when we have discrete frequency, we have to find out sigma fi. That is going to be 70. Fi ui whole square. So sigma fi ui This last two columns you have to add sigma fi ui. So this is 22. See, this is a very small number. Then sigma fi ui whole square. This is going to be fi ui whole square is 130. So capital N you have, sigma fi ui you have, sigma fi ui whole square you have. H we have taken as 10. This H can vary. Depending upon the problem, this H can be 10, 100, 20, whichever number divides every member of third column. So now the variance will be, see, variance will be, the formula we are taking now, I just need to change the color. So variance will be H square multiplied by 1 by n. Here you will have sigma fi ui whole square, fu square basically, minus in bracket 1 by n whole in bracket sigma fi ui, and this is whole square. Here it is only sigma fi ui and then square of it. So variance we are finding out. H is 10, 10 square is 100. 1 by n, you know fi ui whole square is 130, 70 is capital N. This is 130, so 130 by 70. Then we have sigma fi ui, which is 22, 22 by this capital N is 70. And this is whole square. Okay, now when you compute, it will come as 175.822. Now standard deviation is under root of variance. So you take under root, 175.822 will come. 13.259, under root of this one. So 13.259 is the variance, standard deviation. So this is for the discrete frequency distribution. So this is used when all the members of this third column is divisible by a common number. This is the basic method. This is generally used. Okay. Now we are going to see the variance and also the standard deviation. Variance and standard deviation, we have talked about individual observations. We talked about the discrete continuous frequency distribution. But what about the continuous frequency distribution? We saw the questions also. Now today we are going to discuss about continuous frequency distribution. This continuous frequency distribution means that you have an interval and then you have the frequencies. So the question or the solution will be somewhat different. We will not have any individual observation. Number and frequencies also will not be given. We will have a class and there will be a proper class intervalled numbers. These are frequencies. So I'll just tell you about the example and then I'll go back to actual formula what we are going to use. Let us start with an example so that we understand it better. We have to find out the mean and standard deviation and the marks are given and the number of students are given. That is, we call it as a class interval, not xi. I'm just saying that xi will be computed from here only. This x will be computed from here only. So we call it as the class interval, then the frequency. So in a question, these two will be given. This is what we are calling it as continuous frequency distribution. Say 20 to 30, there are three students. Those who got marks from 30 to 40, they are around 6. From 40 to 50, 13 students got the marks. Then 50 to 60, 15 got the marks. Then 60 to 70, 14 got the marks. Between 60 to 70, 5 people got from 70 to 80 in between. 80 to 90, 4 of them got these marks, right? Secured these marks. So this is the question we are talking about. This is called continuous frequency distribution. So basically we need some x. We cannot find out for any range. How do we do this? Now let me tell you the algorithm first. The first thing we will do is that we saw the class, like for example 20 to 30. We will try to find out the midpoints. What is the midpoint? 20 plus 30 by 2. That is, add the lower limit, upper limit, and then divide by 2, which is 20 plus 30 by 2, which is going to be 25. First step will be this one. The second step will be, we will take the deviation of these midpoints from the assumed mean. So we'll just assume some mean. This is up to you. Always take the middle one, that will be better. And we denote these deviations by d sub I, d subscript I, di. and this di is xi minus a. That is, we will assume mean and then subtract each of them. Then what is the ui? Ui is basically di, which is xi minus a, divided by the class interval. 20 minus 30 or 30 minus 20 is what? 10. So whatever you got in the step number 2, divide each term by 10, which is h, di by h. Fourth will be what? This is multiply ui by fi. Means the frequency has to be multiplied by the value which is found in step 3. The fifth step will be you have to find out ui square. And then you have to find out again multiply fi with ui square. Then take the sigma. First we have taken sigma ui fi. Now we have to take sigma fi ui whole square. Then the variance formula will be what? Variance is basically the standard deviation precursor. So h square is what? Class interval. Then we have 1 by capital N. Capital N is sigma f, which is the sum of the frequencies. Then you have sigma fi ui whole square. Sigma fi ui square, this one, fifth one. And then 1 by n. Capital N is again sigma fi. Then you have how many students are there? Basically the complete number of students. Then fi ui and then whole of the square. So this is the formula we are going to use. Let us take an example now. We have already taken an example. Now let us compute. Let us see how computation is being done. So what will come? First we have to find out the mean. Okay, first thing in mean, then only we can find out the other values. Because the question is also saying mean. First I'm saying mean and standard deviation has to be found out. So what is xi first? Lower limit plus upper limit by 2. 20 plus 30 by 2 is 25. 30 plus 40 by 2 is 35. 40 plus 50 plus by 2 is 50, 45 like this. All this 80 plus 90 by 5 is 85. This is your middle value. Now we can work with it. As I told you ui, how to find ui? You have to find out ui is what? Ui minus, as I told you, you have to find out di. Di was xi minus assumed mean. So let us take any assumed mean in between. 55 is better. Always take the center one. So we are taking this was di. And as I told you, ui was what? Di by class interval. What is the class interval? It's 10. 30 minus 20. 40 minus 30. These are 10. So finally, I just skipped that di. I just wrote here ui. So 25 minus 55 by 10. So I'm just taking one example. It will be minus 30 by 10. So minus 3. Same thing, 35, this 35 minus 55 by 10 like this. So all these sum will come. Don't worry about the numbers. Worry about the steps. Now you have to find out ui whole square. Take the ui whole square. It will be 3 is 9, 4, 1, 0, 1, 4, 9. Ui whole square. Now multiply fi with ui. So these second column and fourth column you have to multiply. So you have to find out fi ui. Just multiply this. Then you have to find out fi with ui whole square. So second column has to be multiplied with fifth column. So fi ui, see 3 into minus 3 is 9. First one. Minus 3 is 9. 6 into minus 2 is minus 12 like this. Minus 13, then 15 into minus 13, 15 into 0 is 0. 14 into 1 is 14. 5 2 is 10. 4 is 12. Fi ui whole square. That is, now you have to multiply the second column with the fifth column. So multiply this. 3 into 9 is 9 is 27. 6 4 is 24. 13 into 1 is 13, 15 0, 0, 14, then 5 4 is 20, 9 4 is 36. Now you remember the formula? I told you the formula about this. Now let us just use the formula. Okay. And since the question is asking mean also, so let me tell you about mean also. Then we'll find out the variance. This is the formula of variance. So n is what? Sigma fi. Just add each term of the second column, which is 60 in this case. Sigma fi ui. Now add this sixth column, sigma fi ui. So this will be, this is 2 because negative positive will make it 2. Now sigma fi ui whole square. Just add all these, sigma fi ui whole square. And that is going to be 134. Now all the values are there. H is also there. H will be also used in the formula. H is 10. So mean, because the question is saying mean, so let me tell you mean also, because in the previous question we have found out the median. So let us know the, just to remember, just to recall, mean will be, because we already taken an assumed mean, x bar is mean. So assumed mean, which was 55, plus h is the class interval, sigma FIUI by this term divided by capital N. So what we will do, let me change it because actually calculation is done. A assuming you have taken as 55, the middle of the third column, 55 plus h is what? 30 minus 20, h is 10. Sigma FIUI you can take from here 2, and capital N is sigma FI, which is 60 here. Okay, so this is coming to be 55.33. This is mean. Now coming to variance. I'm not writing it again, just to take this. We have discussed it just now. Now just put the value. H square is what? 10 square. Into, now bracket starts, sigma FIUI whole square. That is the last column you have to take. That is 134. What is capital N? Sigma FI, 60. Now minus, this is sigma FIUI. What is sigma FIUI? 2. And what is N? This is 60 whole square. So what do you compute? 222.9. And this is variance. Now variance, how to find out standard deviation? Take under root of variance, that is 222.9, which is going to be 14.94. So this is the formula being used for the continuous frequency distribution, where the class intervals are given and where the frequencies are given. I hope you got the idea. Now one more thing is analysis of frequency distribution. So what we have seen when we found out mean deviation and standard deviation, when this mean deviation and standard deviation, they have the same units in which the data are given, okay, the measures of dispersion we are unable to compare two or more series which are measured in different units, even if they have the same mean. So we need to have something like a coefficient of variation. So we require these measures which are independent of the units. So coefficient of variation is independent of the units. So this is the measure of variability, and this is independent of units, and this is coefficient of variation. It is given by sigma by x bar, which is the sigma is standard deviation, x bar is mean. Let me tell you again, the mean deviation, standard deviation have the same units in which the data are given. So we cannot compare two or more series, the measure of dispersion, even if they have same mean. So we need to have something which is independent of the units, which is what we are introducing here is coefficient of variation, CV. So the coefficient of variation formula I told you, sigma by x bar into 100. So this is why this analysis of frequency distribution, we have a new formula here. So what you will do, find out this standard deviation, divide by mean and 100. So when you compare the variability of two series, the coefficient of variation for each series, the series which have a greater CV, whichever has a greater CV, that is the coefficient of variation, this is said to be more variable, or you can say conversely, less consistent, less uniform, less stable, less homogeneous than the other one. Right? See, CV more, coefficient of variation more variability, less uniform. But the coefficient of variation which has lesser, that means this data, this series is more consistent and it is more homogeneous than the other. It is consistent and it is more homogeneous. Okay, all are near mean. So if you want to compare two frequency distribution, how to compare this? As I said, the mean is same. So coefficient variation of first distribution, find out sigma 1 by x bar, which is the mean both same, is giving value same, into 100. Coefficient of variation of second one, again sigma 2. This is for the second series which you want to compare. Sigma 2 divided by, again x are same, means the arithmetic means are same, into 100. Now divide these two. When you want to compare, divide 2, x bar will cancel, 100 will cancel. Basically it's sigma 1 by sigma 2. So this means the two distribution can be compared on the basis of their standard deviation only. You don't need any other thing. Just take sigma 1 and sigma 2 and you can compare. Whichever sigma is higher, whichever sigma is lower, variance is coming from sigma. This sigma is coming from variance only. So higher variance, higher problem. Lower variance, good unit, good series. Okay, now we'll take about the questions in the next discussion. Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.